What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
Hey guys, it's Thunder Rosa, and welcome to True Heel Heat.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom 2025 review. Discussing yesterday's show from Yokohama Arena, the biggest Stardom show of all time, and what a show it was. We saw an all-timer, and we're here to discuss it here with all of you. So, I am joined by the Stardom source himself, Stardom expert, the English commentary team's favorite source when it comes to Joshi wrestling, the one and only Scott Edwards, Scott E. Wrestling, the busiest man in Joshi wrestling media.
That's actually true. I am so tired. I told you before the show. The busiest part. All the other stuff might not be true, but that part definitely true. I appreciate you having me back, though. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk this show one more time this week. I think. I'm sure it won't be the last time I talk about this show, but as I talked to you when we talked about the preview the other day, this was going to be an end of the era type show in so many ways, and I think everyone has felt that in the 24 hours since. So excited to review this show. A incredible show. Truly one of the all-time great shows I've seen. And I mean, it's doing like record type stuff on Cage Match right now. Those top 6 matches alone are all 8 and higher. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So truly incredible, and I can't wait to talk about it with you right now.
Absolutely. I am glad you were able to join us today, and I appreciate all of y'all if you're watching us live. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Either way, show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. Hear your thoughts on Stardom's All-Star Grand Queendom 2025. Yeah, like you said, it's setting all-time records on Cage Match. It's getting a lot of rave reviews, so we are happy to talk about the show. We made the right decision by switching it up and talking about this show instead of TNA Rebellion. Good on us. Good on us.
I mean,
and of course, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah. I told you that beforehand. And boy, oh boy, was I right. I don't even know if the TNA show was good, but I feel pretty good about my take on it.
It was fine. It was just fine. It was a fine show. Not an all-timer. Not the best TNA show I've ever seen. It was just fine.
Here's
fine
a good question
TNA
for
show.
you. What's the last time you saw a TNA show that was an all-timer?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think maybe like 2021 when Kenny Omega was over there.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
It's 4 years. It's not that bad. Like I was about to go there like 2018 to go to get like the nearest one, and then before that is like 2006, 2007, like those times.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess 2021 is not that bad when 2008's being brought up. Or not even 2008, like 2006. Oh my god. Yeesh. Shout out to TNA.
But yes, this show had some lofty expectations going into the event. And of course, the All-Star Grand Queendom show, like we talked about in the preview from 2023, is one of the all-time great Joshi events of all ever. And I think this one somehow, some way outdid that.
Yeah, I think for me, like looking back at that one and comparing it to this one, the cards are very different. I think the first one, the card is like really just great start to finish. Like there's nothing that I think you walk away from being like, wow, that is undoubtedly match of the year. But there were 2 matches alone on this show that I walked away saying that. There were 2 more on this show that I walked away saying like, my God, what did I just watch? And like, that's also not including 2 other matches that I also felt pretty highly about. So it's like, yeah, it's hard to, I think when you can peak higher and multiple times, that outclasses maybe a more consistent show from the very beginning. But it's absolute class what Stardom accomplished here, and it should be celebrated. It should be celebrated for honestly, as long as you can, because that Stardom, as we have learned, is now no more. Very, very quickly. But it's
been a rough year for Bushi Road.
Yeah, they're crushing it. They are crushing it. No, yeah, Bushi Road's bad.
That is an understatement. But yes, we appreciate like I said, I'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel and inspire us to do more Stardom content. I would love to hit up Scott Moore and talk some more Joshi wrestling, maybe some Marigold, maybe some TJPW. You could do that with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We already got in the chat with us. We got Greg Carter II, who says great show. We also got Zach as well, Minger, who says great show as well. We also got a super chat donation from our good brother Vala, who's a huge Joshi wrestling fan. He says, you know me, you know how much I hate saying the word, but this is probably the only time you'll see me saying this genuinely. Tam versus Saya was cinema. I rarely say the word, but that whole post match, that is like that's the true definition of cinema. The way WWE fans use it, it's totally wrong and it's totally not the same thing, but this was cinema.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I've ever seen like obviously the post match was emotional, whatever, but I don't know if I've ever seen something like this end the way it did and just sat there like what did I just watch? Like, whoa. Hey, listen, I was stunned at how well done that ending was. Because it's unless you understand who Tam Nakano is, it probably is like, oh, well, what is going on here? But if you understand who she is, like I do, and like many others, I walked away being like, there truly was no other way to do this. Like, this is exactly how she should be saying goodbye. And it was a promise she made. She said, if I lose, I'm done with pro wrestling. I disappear. And boy, oh boy, did she disappear. So incredibly done. Call it cinema, you can call it whatever you want. I just think it was so good, and really, like, again, showcase that this was the end of one long era in Stardom that really brought them to prominence.
Yeah. I want you to answer this question that I see in the chat. I'm just gonna re-up my Wi-Fi because I see I'm a little freezy a bit here on my end. So I'm gonna restart my Wi-Fi so you can answer the question and go through your busy schedule of everything you've been doing, because Colin here has asked. So what number review is this for you, Scott? And I'll be right back.
Great question, Colin. I think this is review number 4. It's definitely 4. Obviously I did my live stream review yesterday at 3 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel, which you could check out. I ended up doing one this morning with Walker Stewart, who of course called the action. That was kind of an impromptu conversation that I didn't expect to have, but it worked out that way. It was awesome. I just did one on Ring Post Radio, and now I'm here to do this. And this is a show dedicated to it. So I always appreciate SP3 for calling me in. I think I'm done here. But if I'm not, then oh boy, wish me luck, because I am on like right now I'm on 3.5 hours of sleep. Yesterday I was on 2 hours of sleep. I am paying dearly for it, but like I said to SP3 before the show, if I'm ever gonna do this, it's this time. And with that press conference, I knew I had to, because that's a little more important, truthfully more important to me than the show. The show itself was just so phenomenal. Like, it's one of those shows, if you woke up for it, you were just like, I'm so happy I did that. You know, sometimes you can wake up for a show and you'd be like, oh, why did I do that to myself? This, I couldn't have been happier. Like, every second was worth it.
There you go. Yeah, we actually got Colin who says, I started listening to your Walker Stewart review. So you've been talking about this show a lot in the last 24 hours. So we appreciate you for joining us here today. Sage is in the chat. He says, I had to watch that main event twice. It was perfect. Can't think of a better way for her to go. So much love going to the show in the chat for sure. We got Hulk 076 Joe, who says this was one of the best shows that will go down in history. And we got finally Vala B with a second super chat donation. Thank you, Vala, for the support. He says Mayu is the GOAT, bringing back big match Syuri. My wish was that Mayu would be a freelancer. Looking forward to the Marigold run. So yeah, I mean, that's the big news of the day. It was announced this morning at the press conference, like you mentioned earlier. Mayu Iwatani announcing that she is officially leaving Stardom. This has kind of been in the conversation for a little over 6-7 months now, dating back to the end.
Year, man.
Yeah, pretty much when Marigold started. That like shortly thereafter that we heard that Mayu was probably going to be leaving the company next. So, do you think that Marigold is her next stop?
Yeah, I'm not having this WWE thing that Dave's throwing out. Like, that's not it. Like, if she was ever going to leave Stardom, it wasn't going to be to go to America. It was going to be for a more deeper reason than that. She has money. Like, I don't know if anyone knows this. She was the highest paid wrestler in Stardom for like the past like forever. Like she has money. Everything she wears is designer. Like she's fine. To her, this is now a new challenge, a welcome challenge as someone who is obviously as big of a fan I am as her. And I'll say this because I know some people feel one way or the other about these promotions and Marigold and Stardom and whatever.
Yeah.
I will always support the wrestler over any promotion.
Agreed.
Especially when it comes to me, especially Mayu Iwatani. I will support her decision making. I will just support whatever she goes. And I am very excited for her to sink her teeth and do something new. She said it very well in that press conference. She's like, I literally have done everything. There is nothing I haven't done. IWGP Women's Title, 2-time World of Stardom Champion, 2-time Wonder of Stardom Champion, 5-star winner, 2-time Cinderella winner, artist, goddess, SWA, high speed. You get the point. She's won everything. She's the only wrestler that has won everything. And she was there for 14 years. She made Stardom what it was. And I'll say this, now this will maybe upset some people, but Stardom is no longer Stardom without her. And you would be correct, Connor Smith. You are absolutely on the money. Mayu could single-handedly turn Victoria Yuzuki into a superstar in Marigold. Victoria Yuzuki idolizes this woman. Victoria Yuzuki has not let go talking about this girl. She is continuously, anytime she's asked, she brings up Mayu because that is why she got into wrestling. So you would be correct. And I'm very excited to see them reconnect. There's a reason Yuzuki was in Stars for all of like 2 months before she left. And it's exciting time in the world of Joshi. It's scary, maybe, because Stardom has taken a devastating hit. Like I can't sugarcoat it because Micah's also going to be out with injury. That's tough. That is Tam and Mayu leaving. That was kind of something I was mentally prepared for. Micah being out with injury, I was not. And Micah is, one of those very few top main eventers. I'll say that since I think October last year, there have been 4 people that have been in the World of Stardom title picture. It's been Tam Nakano, Suzu Suzuki, Saya Kamitani, and Micah. 2 of them are now gone.
Yeah.
So, stars are going to be made. Plain and simple.
Yeah, they kind of have to because like what a kind of like whirlwind the past year has been for Stardom. You lose all those talents to either WWE or Marigold with Julia, Utami Hayashita. You had Mirai leave at the same time. Then you had the exit of Mina Shirakawa earlier this year. Then you lose Tam Nakano, Mayu Iwatani. Tekla leaves on this show as well. All of these people all in like a span of a year. That's like a big portion of the roster is gone.
Yeah. They bounced back so well from the Marigold exits last year to a point where I think you kind of, or at least I started to treat them as like they'll be fine no matter what, but after these 2 exit, which I think, when it comes to it, don't get my hopes up. I lost my train of thought. Okay. I remember. When you look at the Stardom roster, it's still very talented. It's very young. They're going to push new stars. But losing Mayu Iwatani and Tam Nakano, no matter how you shake it, that is losing your top 2 stars. That would have been like New Japan losing Okada and Naito at the same time, rather than where we are now. If that makes sense.
Apart, which
a year apart. But now I will say this: Stardom is in the spot that like New Japan is now with Naito leaving, where the younger guys have stepped up, right? So it's not as much of a hit, I think, to most people as when Okada left. So that's good because the Stardom has such a young roster. They're gonna be okay. It's just how and where do we go from here? But like you're all saying, they have people. No one would question Momo Watanabe and Hazuki being pushed. I think everyone would actually prefer if they were pushed. But we'll talk about Hazuki and why. That would be great. That would be great. I have thought maybe that they would go and try to get her after her year in Marigold. I'd love to see Bozilla somewhere. I don't want her to just like disappear.
She had an
So
awesome matchup with Megan Bain at Joey Janela's
Yeah.
Spring Break. That was awesome.
she did. She did. So I'm hoping we see her pop up in some form somewhere soon. But yeah, we'll talk about, I think naturally throughout this review, we can talk about people who
Yeah.
may step up and so on.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people shouting out different people. Kirby saying Hanan is ready for the top spot. So let's see what's going to happen with Marigold, as this is a kind of a transition time coming off of their biggest show of the year. But let's get into things as always with our pay-per-view reviews. We're going to start with Scott. One word, one phrase to give your overall thoughts on Stardom All-Star Grand Queen.
Emotional. 2 matches had me like so much more emotional than I think I could have even expected going into it. One I was more prepared for than the other, and that's the best word to explain it as someone who has covered and followed this company. You kind of love to celebrate these big moments, right? 7,503 people in attendance. That's 2,000 more than their highest attendance ever. So it's just an absolute impressive accomplishment, and one that, I sit back and I think to myself, will they ever make it to the Tokyo Dome like they've dreamt? Not if Bushiroad's gonna not pay.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not gonna blame Bushiroad for Tam or Mayu. I'm not. Those are different situations. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you have to replenish talent, and I don't think they're going to go out of their way to sign anyone. So that's the difficulty. And they're not bringing in foreigners, which was a long time staple. And now Tekla's gone, so it's like, what are they going to do besides just lean on their talent? And listen, that's fine. That's how Joshi works. But when Taro Okada brings up the Tokyo Dome at like the beginning of the year, you're like, okay, I thought we kind of let go of that one. So we'll have to wait and see if there's a Tokyo Dome Joshi show again. We're gonna have to see everyone work together. That's what you're gonna have to see. There can't be this animosity between Stardom and Marigold. There can't be, like, everyone would have to agree to, okay, let's put our best foot forward to make this happen. Much like, AJW and JWP did back in the day. You have to go all in on that type thing. But I'm excited as well. That would be my other word, would be excited, because I'm excited about this, talking about the show. I'm excited about the future, despite it being scary. And yeah, I'm rambling because that's what I do.
You're in your emotions, the emotions, like your word.
I know.
My word stems from that one: drama. There was a lot of drama in the matches. It had you on the edge of the seat, especially the top 6 matches on this show. But we'll start from the beginning on the pre-show very quickly. There was the Stardom Rumble, which was run by someone I'm familiar with, Hanako. Hanako picking up the victory here in the Stardom Rumble. She declares that she is going to get the opportunity at the winner of Azumi versus Starlight Kid for the white belt, the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Were you surprised that Hanako picked up the win, and what did you think about the Stardom Rumble overall?
Yeah, I was shocked. I shouldn't be, because they very clearly have shown they like her a lot, but I mean, Momo Watanabe is right there, guys. Like, I don't know what I gotta say. I don't know what I gotta do.
We're gonna have to keep saying this with Momo Watanabe.
Like, if you watch the American shows that they just did, the 2 loudest responses were from Momo and Hazuki, and it's like, there's not that big of a disconnect between here and Japan that they're only over here. I know this. Like, come on. But they're trying to make a new star. I can't fault them for that, especially with how things are going, right? They went with Hanako. I'm not huge on Hanako. I don't think she's ready for the Wonder of Stardom Championship opportunity that she is now getting. But you look at everything that's happened, you got to go with it. You got to try it. So, is what it is. I'm gonna hold out, see how she does in the match itself, and that'll be that. But yeah, it's end of an era is again the best way to say it. This was a way better end of an era than Triple H versus Undertaker. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, because it is an end of an era, unlike that one.
Yeah, they literally came back like 10 years later and wrestled again
Against each other. Oh,
in like one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was awful. It was really bad. Kirby says, Paul and Sean is going to get another top Joshi with Julia getting a call up to Raw. I think that top Joshi would come from Marigold. I don't think it's going to be Mayu Iwatani. I think it would be like a new Tommy.
Yeah.
Because Rossi ready to twerk for Triple H, it seems.
That's what people tell me, yet there's more Stardom versus WWE matches than there are Marigold versus.
That is true. That is
WWE
true.
matches. So I don't know if I don't think there. Here's the thing: I don't think there's any Joshi that makes sense going there right now. Yeah. Like that would succeed. That's just the listen. I don't even think Julia is taken perfectly to WWE, and she was like the clear best bet option to do it.
I think she was mainly hurt because she came in at the same time as Stephanie Vicaire, who basically seamlessly transitioned over there.
Yeah,
I think when you're so closely come in with her, you're gonna be compared to her, and she has kind of adapted a lot better than Julia has. I don't think Julia has adapted or transitioned like badly, but in comparison to Vicaire, it's going to look that way.
Sure. Yeah, I mean Stephanie Vicaire is like unmatchable in most things, like even in like most of America right now. She's just kind of on a different level in terms of what she brings to the table. So you're right. In terms of Joshi, I still need to see them prove that they can do more than just Asuka and Io. Like those are the two that succeeded. They flopped Syuri. Like,
yeah. So they're 2 for 3.
And Kyrie was okay.
Well, 2 for 4. Yeah, 2 for 4. Because
right,
Kyrie,
like,
I wouldn't give
like Kyrie was good in NXT.
Kyrie.
I'm not giving it credit though in the main roster, which especially back then was kind of the judge of it. So they're 2 for 4, shooting 50%. Julia, we'll see.
And then they're retroactively They retroactively sometimes fumble Asuka because it hasn't been all good for Asuka.
Yeah, you're right. Like we might have to give him a half point at this stage. Like they made Charlotte beat her undefeated streak, so like that should have been, to me, that might be failure. Just that alone.
That right there, yes. And the fact that Io is the first Japanese woman to win at WrestleMania, despite Asuka having 4 matches at WrestleMania.
That's crazy.
But we kicked off the main card with the Future of Stardom Championship. You know I'm going to count on you to pronounce these names correctly so I don't butcher them the whole time. So go ahead.
Yeah, so this was Hina defeating Ronnie Yagami to successfully defend the championship. Thought was, as I said to you in the lead up, I thought this would be a good opener for the show because, you kind of set a nice pace for what to expect from here on out, right? They aren't gonna have the match of the night, but they're gonna have a solid match, and that's what they did with Hina getting the win.
Yeah, I thought Rana was like a lot more aggressive and intense than I've seen her in the past. Like you could tell that this match meant a lot to her. In the end, Hina hits the mud splash, not the frog splash, but the mud splash for the 1-2-3 to retain the Future of Stardom Championship. Show of respect between the two stablemates in the post match. I gave this one 3.25 stars. I thought it was a solid way to kick off the show. Nothing too special, but a solid way to kick things off. What did you think overall about this one?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you set a standard of what to expect. It was a fine, solid match. I don't have any problems with it. It's kind of where I expect the Future Stardom title to land, and that's where it landed. In terms of Hina, I think she's making strides that you want to see, especially when you're going to naturally compare her to her two sisters. So it was nice to see her get a big defense on a big show.
So the next matchup was one that was added on the big Corgan show before this one, as you had Tekla versus Sayaka Carrara.
Yeah,
right?
Good job.
Oh, look at me balling out here with the special stipulation that if Tekla lost, she joins Cosmic Angels, and if Tekla wins, she gets to face Taro Okada, the new booker, the new head of Stardom. So this rivalry has been going on a lot. We saw in the U.S. shows the spear from Clark Connors onto Okada to kind of heat things up ahead of this big show. And this was your main like heel versus babyface matchup. Carrara coming from underneath against Tekla, who's much more worried about Okada at ringside than she was in her opponent most times. Even at one point throwing her into the guardrail and then doing the idols pose at Toro. But in the end, it was Carrara who actually picks up the victory here with a Falcon Arrow 1, 2, 3 to get the win and put Tekla away. And then we got a lot of post-match shenanigans here, Scott. As post-match, you had Tekla who snapped after being forced to join the Cosmic Angels. Instead of doing that, she attacked her opponent. Then when other wrestlers and other people tried to stop her from getting her hands on Okada, she got him. She roughed him up a bit, smacking him around to the point that when she was finally pulled away from Okada, he gets on the mic and he announces that Tekla has been fired. Tekla reacting to this big. The crowd is reacting to it as well, as Okada saying, bye-bye, Tekla! Bye-bye, Tekla! As Tekla snaps and flips off the whole entire crowd, as well as the Stardom office. And then it was confirmed by Fightful Select later on yesterday that Tekla is done in Stardom and that she wants to be moving over to the United States, and several major promotions are going to be gunning to pick her up and get her services. She's at that age. I think she's about 32
31.
years old. Yeah, this was like the time that you would want to kind of use the equity that you built up in Stardom to go to a major promotion, get that big payday, especially in the United States. Since she's from the United States, it makes a lot of sense there. So what did you think about the post-match activity? As far as the matchup, I gave it 2 3/4 stars. A pretty decent follow-up from the opener. Not as good as the opener, but pretty decent here. What did you think about the match and the post-match here with Tekla being gone from Stardom?
Admittedly, it was very funny. Jungle Kiona returned to the ring while this was happening. So I was making sure, I just kept checking things to make sure she got through that, because if you know her story, very, very difficult run she's had over the past couple of years. So the match anyways wasn't doing much for me to begin with. It was fine. Nothing I could say too poorly about it. It did its job. It was all for the angle, right? That's why they put this match on the show. Tekla has been trying to go to America for what I think is 2 years now. I think this has been kind of her goal. She's been in Japan pretty much exclusively since 2019. So, it's time. And if I had to give a guess, I think she probably is All Elite. That would be my kind of confident guess, slightly maybe. I don't know. I just feel like that's the fit. Because I also think that eventually Clark Connors could make his way to AEW as well, and obviously, they are a couple, so that's part of my thinking too. So it makes the most sense there.
Yeah, and that's what I think I got tagged by somebody. I forget their name. I'm sorry if you're watching, I forget your name, but they tagged me and they asked me like, where did I think Tekla was gonna go? I was like, she has the promo work and the character work that would work in a WWE, and having the Joshi background but not being Japanese is helpful when you're in WWE because WWE doesn't always do well by like Kirby says here, doesn't do always well by the Joshi girls from Japan. But if you have that experience and you come to WWE, you have a better opportunity. And yeah, you guys are right. I think she is Austrian, but she lives in the United States. That's what I was trying to say.
I will say this: AEW replacing Mariah May with Tekla would not shock me.
I wouldn't be shocked at that at all. That's what I said in the end. I was like, she has the things that would work in WWE, but I think she'll go to AEW. And I think the person responded that they thought she was going to WWE. But I put 1 and 2 together, kind of like what you just did with Clark Connors seeming like he's going to AEW. It only makes sense that Tekla goes there with him. So yeah. We're at this point where if there are a couple from New Japan and Stardom, the best place for you to go really to make that transition is to Tony Khan and AEW because they probably know of you a lot more than Paul and Nick.
Yeah, that's true. Though I did learn that Mina Shirakawa's return is on ROH, so that's tough.
I mean, to be fair, they need some stuff in ROH, especially if they're going to do that show during All In week. They're going to need a big money matchup for Athena.
I just got to know why. Like, why is ROH still chugging along?
I have no clue because this man won't just make it a developmental. Like, that's the simplest thing he could have done.
It feels like he's in the between of like committing to that and not committing to that. It's like, And it's like, okay, sure. Like the best parts of the ROH stuff, like, is when he's put the younger people in there and then they've moved up, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you just do that? Why is Athena still there?
It's because they refuse to just put the title on Billy Starks. I don't know why. Like I'm still confused. I was live there at Final Battle in December, and I was like, my jaw. You can ask people who saw me there. My jaw was on the floor when Athena won that matchup. I was like, what the? I literally said this multiple times. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing? This is the simplest thing to book.
Oh shit, that's crazy. I don't get it.
And it's going to make even less sense if he doesn't do Athena versus Mercedes for all the titles at All In Texas. Because that's the only reason that would make retroactively that makes sense, is that you're going to do ROH Women's World Championship versus TBS title at All In Texas. But if he's going to do Mercedes instead going for the AEW Women's World Championship, then it makes no sense why Athena is still Ring of Honor Women's World Champion.
It'd be really funny though. Like, could have made someone by beating her, and it's like, we'll just put the belt on Mercedes. Which, like, I respect.
No. I think they would. I think they would do Athena winning that because it's in Texas, and AEW loves to put people over in their home states and hometowns.
That's true. They are the opposite of WWE in that respect. Yeah, no, okay, that makes me feel better. Still, she still have the ROH title though. That's a problem.
I think at that point, if she wins the TBS championship, just relinquish the title. Do what freaking Asuka did for you and just relinquish it. Since you couldn't beat Asuka, no one can beat you at ROH. Just relinquish the title, and then Billy can win a tournament.
That's the crazy part, right? Like, I just like after she beat Billy again, I was like, why don't you just do that? Like, why are we still? Why do we still do it? It's fine. It's fine. As long as they run that match back. Though I think it'll be very funny if Mercedes also won the world title.
Yeah. I would laugh.
And I would understand it because she's been treated as the world champion since she's pretty much walked in. So
yeah.
Like
we got Hulk who says, I knew something was going to happen with Tekla when that Cosmic Angel story was starting. Tekla with Cosmic dancing not happening. LOL. Yeah. Seems Seems like the case. Seems like that. All right, next up, I'll give you the honors of saying the participants for this. Main, I know Rina, but I don't know how to pronounce the other one. So go ahead.
Yeah, Yumiko Hoda versus Rina.
Yumiko Hodo versus Rita. This was the kind of what you said in our preview. This is the veteran, former WWWA World Champion, near 40-year veteran coming into Stardom to face Rina. I thought this would be perfect to put Rina over after her Match of the Year candidate at against Starlight Kid earlier this year, but gotta say, Scott was right once again. But so the veteran, the 40-year veteran, comes in here, picks up the victory with the sleeper hold, picking up the win here against Rina. This was not the best matchup. I was like kind of how you felt about the Tekla matchup. I wasn't feeling this one too much, and especially the outcome left a sour taste in my mouth because I was just like, just put Rina over. Rina is going to be a future star for you. I gave this one 2.5 stars.
That's fair. I was entertained by like Rina's work because I think Rina's good. But you know, her losing is not a good thing. Like it's never good. I have no problem with it because again, I fully expected this. I predicted everything in this match or in this show except for the Mako match correctly, and that's because I thought Sendai Girls would not go 2-0 on the night. Which is kind of sick that they did, but that's fine. But yeah, I mean, shouts out to Hoda. The thing with Rina is you instantly have to follow up, though. You instantly have to get her back on the winning track. And considering how much emptiness is now in this top of the card, I'm just keeping her there. Like, she's obviously very much a star. What's very exciting is that she does have a big time match next month at the Hana Kimura Memorial Show. She will be facing Veni one-on-one. So that's a big time match for her. If she loses to Veni, no one will bat an eye. But if she loses, no one will be upset about that. But that should be a lot of fun. And hopefully the 5 stars kind of the big complete breakout, at least that's what I hope.
I would hope so. So then this is when I felt like the show was picking up. It was picking up just a bit before we get into the final 6. Yeah. This one was the multi-woman matchup, trios matchup of team Miko Satomura and the Sendai Girls. I'm going to try to get this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mika Awata?
Miko Awada. Close enough.
Mika Awada and
Awada.
Awada.
Yeah, there you go.
And Yuna.
Yeah, you got
and
that
then versing the Cosmic Angels here. This was a fun trios matchup. I love the interaction between I'm gonna try this
Sakura?
again. Aya Sakura and Mako Satomura. When they got into the ring together, damn, they were beating the crap out of one another. And Sakura was not with the shits. She was squaring right up with her. The strikes were really well done. The intensity really picked up, and it really got like the loudest chants of the night at that point with the crowd really getting behind Sakura as she went toe to toe with the legend. But Mako put her away, hit that crane kick to the top of the dome piece. 1, 2, 3. Mako Satomura leading the way for the Sendai Girls to pick up the victory here. I thought this was a really good matchup. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. Like I said, this was a significant point up from the first 3 matches of the show. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, I like, everyone says the final 6 matches. I was like, no, let's not overlook this one. This one kicked everything into gear. For the rest of the show, this was really good. Like, for just a trios match on the undercard, it's probably everything you kind of hoped for. Aya Sakura is a legitimate star in the making for Stardom. It's again part of the reason why you look at their company, and while they have a lot of losses, this is someone who can and will be a star for them. There's a reason Sendai Girls has put their junior title on her. and she had a great showing here against the legend. Someone made a good joke that Mako might have put over Aya Sakura more than most of the people she's faced in her retirement road, and I was like, that's very funny. But I think it's true, honestly, because she gave her a lot, and like,
Yeah.
she clearly is someone that Mako has taken a liking to, and you know, we're mere hours away from Mako Satomura retiring from professional wrestling. So the fact that she went out there and did this with Aya was awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good matchup. Like I said,
Everyone else was good too, but
yeah,
it was that.
I thought Natsupoi looked good. Syuri looked good. The Sendai girls representatives, they were fine. I like the interaction between Awada. Am I saying that right? Awada.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Awada and Natsupoi. I thought they were going at it pretty well, but definitely the highlight of this matchup was Sakura versus Mako. And yes, I've been told by Colin in the chat, you got to give Mako Satomura's final show a watch later. SP3, it's on Wrestle Universe. I will try to put that into my schedule. I have so much wrestling to watch, but I took the time out. I woke up early. I woke up just in time for the next matchup, which was awesome timing. I want to give my kids credit. My kids is on point. My kids woke me up at just the right time. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I was like, that was the whole conversation we had on the preview. I was like, I just want them to put it in a certain spot where I could get some sleep, and I will watch the rest of the show later. But I want to wake up for this matchup next, and it was perfect.
This match, you can put the graphic up if you want, but this match is my victory lap of the show, because I said if they give them the proper time, they're gonna put on a freaking show. And boy, oh boy, did they. You saw in real time Suzuki remember who exactly she was. The moment she was split open, you would have thought like she was look at that picture. That was her waking up. That was her being like, oh, I'm back. That's Suzuki that was tearing it up in 2022 and 2023. She's right here. This is her.
Yes.
Right? She had a tough year last year, but she's bounced back big time this year. And this match with May Sarah, my goodness. Credit to May Sarah, by the way. This is not her ballpark whatsoever. And yet she's out there bleeding for the love of the game. She's out there crushing it. Look at all that blood. It's disgusting. It's awesome. And she was putting on one hell of a performance. And I've said this in my previous reviews, but I'll say it one more time. They used the no DQ stipulation to benefit the match rather than be the match. And I think that's very important with stipulation matches, right? You want to use that to benefit the story rather than it being the story. And you just look at these two and what they put themselves through. Like, this match was awesome. And on most shows, it would be the match of the night. This was just not most shows, so that's difficult, but it was incredible.
This is better than like 90% of women's wrestling that you're going to see this year in this one matchup here. And it probably is not even the second best match on this show, which is crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, I have it third. I have it
Me too.
third.
I have it third, but it's so amazing that this matchup is not the best match on the show, because right from jump, the intensity was up. And like you said, they used the no DQ stipulation, and really all we got was the chair use on the outside. Like Suzuki, she blades after she gets ran into the ring post twice, and then they used the steel chair. Her busting the steel chair over May Sarah's head is how she got busted open. But once they did that stuff on the floor, they just got into the ring and had like a normal match where they just beat the crap out of each other. It's like high impact moves. It's all big strikes, and it feels like a genuine fight. It feels like a genuine struggle between the two, and the emotion was there. You could feel that this was an authentic grudge match. They were throwing their best shots at one another. You get the big German suplex, avalanche German suplex off the top rope, which was a crazy spot. The German suplexes, regular German suplexes, where May and Suzuki were like landing on the back of their head. Then you get May Sarah throwing in her high speed style, where she's going for the different pin pin combinations, and those had me on the edge of my seat as well. And then Suzu Suzuki comes out of nowhere because, you know, she had to deal with the injuries and stuff, so I didn't know she still had this in her, where she finishes her off with the Sky Twister press with a spinal tap. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
She
1,
nailed
2,
it
3.
too. She nailed it
Perfectly.
too.
Suzuki picked up the victory here in an absolute blood war, and then just her adding insult to injury, getting
That's
in
my
May's
favorite.
face post-match and smiling. Like you said, May Sarah, she did her thing in a matchup that is not her style at all, but this was Suzu Suzuki in her playground, and this was absolutely wonderful. I gave this match 4.5 stars. This is, like I said, the third best match on the show, but anywhere else, this would be like a women's match of the year candidate.
Yeah, it would. Like, I saw a lot of people say like match of the year contender. I'm like, I'm not even gonna fight that, man.
Yeah.
This was incredible. It's so great to watch Suzu, because as someone who I love Suzuki, you know, one of my favorites when she's at the top of her game. Last year was so tough, but I just knew she could get back there. You gotta remember everything she went through. She was gonna be World of Stardom champion. Like, that was going to happen, and then it didn't, right? Like, that alone, you know, you kind of come crumbling down from that. And she gets injured last year, you know, she just got to go through all these things. She joins a faction where it's like, this doesn't really make sense, but this is the payoff. This was the payoff of being in that faction. It was so worth it. When she had that match with Rina Masha at Crazy Fest, she said she felt more alive than she has in a long time. And I think that was a sign of, okay, if you guys can let me just, you know, do my thing once in a while, I'm going to be special once again. And this feels like the establishment of her going from main event challenger to eventual main event champion once again. The level that she was at in 2022 at like 19, 20 years old, right? This is where she is, and this is where she belongs. And May Sarah's great too, man. Like, she is so good. She's better than just high speed. Just so good. Like, the fact that this isn't the second best or best match on the show is silly, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, like we got a difference of opinion here from Colin. He says, this was my least favorite match on the show. This much blood ain't my thing. That's the difference between me and you, Colin. This is my thing. Anytime a women's match has this much blood, it elevates things. It makes it feel real to me. Like, one of my matches of the year this year is I have three women's matches at 5 stars this year. So I'm like Dave Meltzer out here in these streets for the year, and one of them is the Hollywood ending. That one, the blood adds to the violence and the story that's being told. And this is kind of like the Joshi version of it, where the blood added to like what the story is about two former friends that are now bitter enemies. And it just worked so well here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand if blood's not your thing, like deathmatch stuff's not your stuff. But when it's Suzuki, it doesn't really matter. I'm all in. I'm all in. But I totally understand that. Some people don't like that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I'm not that. But again, they just set the bar for the rest of the show. And there were some situations on the show where I think a previous match hurt the next match. It was between this and one other match. That was one of the cases here. Like, Chiro Hashimoto and Mike had to go out there after a bloody war.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys are going to have a really solid, strong wrestling match. And it's just going to be like, it's not deflating, but it's like, it resets where you are mentally. Cause it's like, they did everything fundamentally well and very good.
Yeah.
But right, Chiro Hashimoto defeating Micah for the Sendai Girls World Championship, her first defense of the title. I think there was opportunity here. Obviously, if Micah wasn't getting or going away after this, then you would have thought maybe she would have won. But Chiro Hashimoto is an absolute monster, man. Like, there's no one that there's no one in women's wrestling specifically that replicates what she brings to the table, right? She is fast, she is powerful, she's explosive. Everything she does is just like, oh my god, what do you this is absurd. And she's technically sound, man. Like she's a her wrestling background is so legit that it's like you just kind of watch her do that stuff and it's like, all right, you can do this too, while you also throw people on their head and um put Micah through the damn mat with a power bomb
Oh
to
my
win.
god, that the German suplexes though, like I was popping for those German suplexes. How she was just lifting Micah, who's not the smallest woman, and just tossing her onto the back of her head. And I love the fact that a lot of this matchup, you know, they had the limb work with Micah trying to take away kind of Hashimoto's like arms, going for Kimuras and stuff like that. But everything in this match felt like a little bit of a struggle. There was a little bit of a fight. Like even with the final power bomb, you had Micah kind of punching her head, looking like she was gonna get free or reverse it at the end. But then, like you said, Hashimoto drove her into the mat with the power bomb. But I thought that this was like this was a good spot for them, because I thought that this was a nice little kind of a nice little spot in the card where they worked to their spot, where they couldn't go, you know, bombastic and the over the top kind of bloody war that the previous match had. They just had a solid, well built matchup that crescendoed at the right time and ended at the right time. And I thought it was a great match in itself as well, especially if you look at it in a vacuum. It didn't have all the bells and whistles as the previous matchup, but it definitely delivered here. So I gave this one 4 stars. Hashimoto retaining the Sendai Girls World Championship here. And like you said, Micah is going on the shelf for a bit, recovering from her injuries, and what a year she's had in holding down Stardom as one of the top stars in the promotion and delivering a really good performance here to close things out. But overall thoughts, what did you think about Hashimoto retaining here, and who do you think is going to fill in the void for Micah on the Stardom card?
If you ask me who's going to fill the void for all 3 people that are not here right now, we're going to be in trouble. Yeah, so the match, like Chiro Hashimoto, like I legitimately can watch all the time, nonstop. She's in Mako's retirement match tonight. She's probably going to pin her. If I had to guess, like all these things to expect. Um, and Micah, the thing is, I think you could tell she was banged up. Like she's had the elbow thing for 3 years. Like that's just been life that she's accepted. But I think it's more than that to finally take her out of action, because she just kept powering through that, especially with like Tam and Mayu leaving. Like it has to be more for her to be like, yeah, I need to stop for a second. So there's that. Replacing Micah is very unique because this is someone that they are obviously very behind. Now it gives me hope that Saya Kamitani is going to reign on forever, because Micah was kind of the big scary part of this. And hey, you know what? I'm gonna shock people. Here it comes. Momo Watanabe should be the one replacing Micah spot. I'm not kidding. Like there's not a lot of options. There really isn't. Like, unless you want to establish, in terms of established as well, you're going to have to push one of the people that are established already. Yes, you're going to push the future, like Sayaka Karara and Hanako are both in big title matches, and Aya Sakura will get them, and Azumi's obviously there, and Rina and Hanan, but you have these people you can lean on. And with Micah now gone, you're gonna need to lean on someone, and I think that has to be Momo Watanabe. I'm gonna keep giving people hope, because that one I am not letting go. There's such a good story there between her and Saya Kamitani. They can't pass it up, and they're gonna need to find their next great story. Right?
Yeah.
The Tam one's now over. There's no more Tam Road for you people. None. Can't lean on it anymore. So I think Momo and Saya is like where I would start going, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't even know if Saya is going to be a heel that much longer. Like that's the debate going around after the main event. We'll have to wait and see. She should be still a heel because she's so popular as this role, but I would pick Momo. Sorry to give people false hope, but I would.
Fingers crossed for Momo. We need Momo resurrection here. Then we had for the Goddess of Stardom Championship, their tag team titles, Wingori going up defending against FWC. And this one, man, like I don't know how you could follow that bloody war, but somehow, some way, this felt more physically intense than any other matchup on this show. And you said it in our preview that this matchup would be about Hanan versus Hazuki. And man, anytime those two women were in the ring together, you just felt the hatred, the dissension within the Stars faction between those two women. And just immediately at the opening bell, Hanan just runs across the ring and just starts battering Hazuki with forearms repeatedly, just going at it. From the minute go, they were just going at it with each other. Those shoot headbutts with the thud. Ugh! I was cringing. I was like, this is disgusting. And then Hazuki finally comes back at her because Hanan just leaves, opens her hands and says, "Let's go, hit me." And Hazuki just says, "All right, I'll hit you." And just boom, 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 boom. Just big time forearms. I even like the combination of Saya and Koguma. They were kind of like the little brutes of the matchup, exchanging like big chops against one another. This was just a great tag team matchup. And it ends with Hanan and Hazuki going at it. Hanan hitting multiple backdrop drivers and then getting the bridge back suplex for the 1-2-3 for Wingori to retain the Goddess of Stardom Championship. I thought that this one, man, it was highlighted by Hanan and Hazuki, but all four women deserve credit for this splendid matchup here. I gave this 4.25 stars. I thought this was a little bit better than Hashimoto and Maika, but definitely the tag team division is in good hands with Wingori, who delivered here. And FWC, like I said in the preview, they're my favorite tag team in Stardom, and it's mainly because of Hazuki. So my question, what did you think about the match overall, the exchanges between Hanan and Hazuki, and will Hazuki finally get her push with all these women leaving?
Probably not. The match was awesome, like uncomfortable in every way, shape, and form. Like when Hazuki and Hanan were sharing that ring, you were just like, "Oh my god!" You're kind of like, "I don't know," and then once Hazuki finally like just let go and let loose, it was like, "Oh my god, this is insane! This is incredible." The match was fantastic. Yeah, Hazuki is unbelievable. Hazuki is one of the best in the world, and it would be nice if she could be booked that way. Once upon a time, she was destined for the Wonder of Stardom title. She should still be destined for the Wonder of Stardom title if I had the book. But I think the beauty of this match was that Hana and Hazuki were so great, especially in that closing stretch where they trade headbutts, and then Hanan essentially just like kills Hazuki with the backdrop driver, literally on the top of her head. That's the part I'm bringing up. There was a muscle buster on the apron. I don't know about anyone else, but when I see a muscle buster, I think of one thing, and it's Samoa Joe and Tyson Kidd. That's all I think about when the muscle buster comes into play. And they did it on the apron. Sickos. And that took them out for the match. And I was like, see, that was a great point to take them out. Like, we're just going to give it our all. What an incredible spot. Saida should be in a Wonder Stardom title match this year. I think I'm elevating Hanan to the World of Stardom title. I know people wanted to win the Wonder, but so much change. She is so very clearly someone they're behind. She's so very clearly someone that I think is going to hold both of those titles. And this was probably like, in a way, despite how much she very clearly doesn't like Hazuki and the way she teaches, this was Hazuki winning because this is exactly what she teaches. She teaches violence. She teaches tough love, and that's what this was. It was absolutely badass. And I'm excited for both sides. I mean, when it comes to Hazuki, like I said, she should be holding one of those top 2 titles very soon. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen because I can't get myself to believe that. And because if this dislike, which I firmly believe is real, between Hana and Hazuki, they're going to side with Hana. That's their future star. So that is concerned. That being said, I don't know if they have a more money match right now than Hanan versus Suzuki 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's the matchup that I would put the white belt on the line for. Like, that's the type of match you could make as a main event for not like a A-level show, but like at least a B-level show if you want to, or it can be the semi-main event for one of your main shows of the year. Like, anytime they touched in this matchup, it got a big response from the fans because the fans understood the relationship that they have and the build up to this matchup, and you felt the intensity kind of coming off the screen watching from home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was incredible. So violent. And yeah, she didn't handshake, she just walked away. Stars is dead, guys. Just accept it. It's done.
Yeah, Mayu's gone, so it's over. It's over.
Mayu's gone, and she wasn't piecing it together to begin with. She tried. She said she tried in the deleted tweets once upon a time that she tried to hash things out, and it didn't work. Now she's gone, and now these two teams are what makes up the Stars along with Momo Kogo. Yeah, good luck. It's really weird though, because I did think Kazuki and Kogo maybe would go with Maika as the Fukuoka trio moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But now that Maika's out, I'm like, I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe by default we have to finally push Suzuki.
Please, come on, give me a Suzuki push.
It's awesome.
We all want it.
Yeah, we do.
Please,
we do want.
Please, Okada. But next up was the match that I told you on the preview I was looking forward to the most. And boy, oh boy, did it deliver. For the IWGP Women's Championship, Mayu Iwatani defending against Syuri. And these two women, man, they like these. I know Mayu has like maybe a half dozen pro wrestling soulmates. If you've seen her matches with Io Shirai, or seen her matches with Kairi, even her matches with like your Julias of the world were outstanding, but Syuri might be it for her right now. Like, this was the perfect opponent for what would be Mayu Iwatani's final match in Stardom. And I think that there was kind of that air and that feeling in the air that this was the final matchup as well. I think a lot of people kind of understood that in the building right from the start. Like, the striking in this matchup was just vicious. It was nasty. It had so much venom on it, and it was all stiff. It was all legit strikes. This was a match that was built on the striking and the submission work of Syuri, and then Mayu's just ability to sell pain. No one sells or takes bumps quite like Mayu Iwatani, because she makes you believe that every bit of like violence or pain that she's going through, she puts it out there. She has some of the best facial expressions of any pro wrestler I've ever seen, and you felt that throughout the matchup, especially when they're exchanging strikes. You see that there, and then we said it in the chat, I think it was Valop who said it, big match Syuri. The Syuri that got the first 5-star matchup in Stardom history was back here in this matchup after 2 years of kind of being on the sidelines. She should. Sorry. She should. But god damn, this was so phenomenal. This was just excellent pro wrestling at its finest. The submission where she was basically Zack Sabre Jr., where she was going from cross arm breaker into disarmer into this weird submission where she has both arms trapped. She has her in a head scissors at the same time. Mayu looks like she's about to pass out from the pain, but Mayu has just a little bit, and you saw the free leg as she grabbed the other leg and then put that in a half crab, and Mayu just desperately puts her foot on the rope, and then the closing stretch where they picked up the pace a little bit and went into that. They went from third gear to fourth gear almost seamlessly, where Mayu hits a big thrust kick, and then she goes for her double jump Poison Rana. She doesn't hit it. They just both fall back at the same time. This match has a massive botch in it, but you wouldn't know because they just kept going. That's how you should do it. Don't try to repeat the spot. Just keep going. She just goes into, she hits a second moonsault, gets the near fall for there. You had the frog splash. You had all the big Mayu moves that you would expect. She hits the two-step dragon suplex, but that's not enough. It eventually took not one but two big hits from Syuri. She hits her with a buzzsaw kick, but that's not able to put Mayu away either. Then you get like the big bombs. You get so much drama, so many nasty spots in this one as well. You get Mayu coming off with the tope suicida early in the matchup, and then finally Syuri puts her away. She hits one electric drop, electric chair drop move. Then she hits like an armed cross electric chair drop. 1, 2, 3. Syuri finally ends the 2-year run of IWGP Women's Champion, the longest champion in the history of the IWGP. Mayu Iwatani ends her reign here with Syuri picking up the win to become only the fourth IWGP Women's Champion in the title's history. An absolutely outstanding matchup. This is one of the best matchups you're going to see this entire year. This was very reminiscent to me for like this, the drama, the emotion of it all, and the fact that it wasn't always the prettiest, whether it comes from the strikes, whether it comes from the botch on the double jump Poison Rana. Very reminiscent for our North American fans here of John Cena versus CM Punk from Money in the Bank 2011. That's not the nicest matchup. There's some spots that don't look clean in that match, but there's no doubt that's a perfect, a flawless pro wrestling matchup, despite not everything looking good all the time. And this is kind of similar to that, but on a whole nother level when it comes to just the overall stiffness and just the snugness of all the strikes, all the big moves, just the bumps in this matchup. The selling was on point. This was absolutely exceptional pro wrestling at its finest, and then the emotions didn't even stop there. You had the post-match where you see the show of respect between Syuri and Mayu. Syuri winning the IWGP Women's Championship and then giving Mayu the opportunity to say goodbye to the Stardom fans. Wonderful speech. You can hear the emotion and the support from the crowd in attendance. You get a show of respect between the two women as well, and then you get the cherry on top, because there's like, don't worry, don't get your eyes off this IWGP Women's Championship, because we got some more for you. We got another match of the year candidate that's coming next up, as Syuri is challenged by none other than Syuri, and Syuri comes in the ring looking so baller with her whole jumpsuit with Syuriism on it. I love that the big show, just showing off your promotion on Stardom's biggest stage. And Syuri, we got to give her credit, because man, you took 2 years off. Stardom put you on the sidelines for way too long, and you showed the fuck out the minute you got the opportunity here. You delivered, and this was an absolutely all-timer matchup. I got no other choice but to go to full boat. This is 5 stars. This is a 5-star matchup, and spoiler alert, it's not the only one on this show. So 5 stars for me. Scott, what did you think about Syuri versus Mayu Iwatani?
It is my match of the year. I'll make it very simple here. I will never feel the emotion that I did for this match. Knowing going in that this is it, and then seeing the look on her face, right? Seeing a look on her face walking out there, actual true emotion from Mayu that isn't, I'm going to win this match, but rather tears going down her face. And that's when you feel the change in the room a little bit. You feel the crowd being like, oh. this is it. And the same can be said for Syuri. This is a very emotional moment for her too. Like you said, she's been sidelined for essentially 2 years, and she's been very adamant about how that's been. Like, if you saw her press conference with Syuri heading into Syuriism, she was crying tears about wanting to get back to the top of wrestling. She hasn't been doing much of anything, yet she's still one of the best on the planet when you give her the opportunity. Now that Mayu Iwatani is gone from Stardom, now that Tam Nakano is gone from Stardom, I don't think anyone can debate me on this. Syuri is the best wrestler signed to this company.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's really up for debate. I know Saya Kamitani is incredible. I get it. I understand that. But pound for pound, when you put them in that ring, it's really hard to top what Syuri brings to the table, especially in the big match. Like you said, big match Syuri. There's big match Mayu and there's big match Syuri, and they both met here. There's something so perfect for me as the supporter of Mayu that I know people like no farewell, no final match, nothing that you would expect for, a 14-year, the heart and soul of Stardom, right? She got nothing. She got no send off. And the way I look at it is there a more perfect way for Mayu Iwatani to say farewell than at the biggest show of all time, drop one of her greatest matches of all time to end her IWGP Women's title reign? That is Mayu Iwatani in a nutshell. And I'll add this. There's something really actually special to me about the botch of the match that people are going to talk about, because for the first few years of Mayu Iwatani's career, she was not perfect. She was never the chosen one in this company. She just became the one in this company. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of time, but she got here. And her and Syuri absolutely tore the house down. The match was incredible. When it ended, I was very, very emotional because it's like, man, 2 years of a run. When you beat the likes of and my guy Walker nailed it. He's like, she in this run has beaten people that are currently in WWE, AEW, Stardom, and Marigold. Like that, she's beaten them all. It's been an incredible run. The person she loses to is the person that she already beat in this reign. Like, she just accomplished so much with this title. She made this title that New Japan does not give a shit about into something. She's made it one of the most prestigious titles in Japan. When your line of winners of this title are Kairi, Mercedes Moné, Mayu Iwatani, and Syuri, it's really hard to argue with that. That is incredible. And guess what? The fifth one is going to be Syuri now. That's where we're going. Syuri killed me. She was like, stop with all this emotional bullshit. I'm here to win this title. I've been here to win this title. And if anyone caught it, she did give the little nod to Mayu. She's like, I'll see you soon too. Because that's not done. I have interviewed Syuri plenty of times over this past year. Honored to do it. She has not stopped saying that Mayu Iwatani is her new top rival. She wants that match. She needs that win back. And now she can't get it because Syuri took it away from her. That's a beautiful story for that match and for that future match somewhere down the road. They celebrate their 15th anniversary next year. It's hard to not think that those two will be facing off sometime in 2026. But for now, we celebrate the fact that Syuri is finally a champion once again, finally has a direction to go. We also celebrate the fact that Mayu put it all out there one more time. And, what's back-to-back weekends a match of the year contenders? That's what I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. We don't know. Well, I'll act stupid for the people at home, but I feel pretty good about it. And Syuri back locked in. I made this joke. I don't know if I did it on a podcast or not. I probably did. I'm so tired. But I said that both Mayu and Syuri just watched for 4 months, and they're like, all right, we'll give everyone a lead. And we'll see you by the end of the year. We'll see who we're talking about as Women's Wrestler of the Year, because now it's our time to turn up the clock. And if you give Syuri a title, and if she's going to be defending that title more places than just Stardom, because I think that belt, if she wins it, could be defended on Syuriism too. She's going to do it again, man. It's just what she does. I can't wait. And I think it's very smart of Stardom to have Syuri ready to go to help with the absences that will be around, right? She's going to be a big part of bringing people in and exciting people, because her and Syuri, I don't know. If you don't get excited for Syuri versus Syuri, you don't like pro wrestling, plain and simple.
Yeah. You don't know what you're gonna get there. So I did watch the Syuriism matchup between the two, which was splendid. Went to a time limit draw. So I expect this one, especially on the big stage, if it's on a big show for Stardom, that should deliver. That should probably be your main event. I don't know who they're gonna put up against Saya Kamitani that's gonna outdo that matchup, but I said at the beginning, I said before when we were talking about Suzuki versus Sarah, I said that I've had 3 women's matches at 5 stars this year. Spoiler alert, 2 of them was on the show.
I kind of figured when you said that, because you said 3, and I was like, if it's not the main event of this show, because I was not allowing Mayu and Syuri not to be 5 stars, or we were gonna have to debate if you did. Then I was like, I wonder. And then I was like, it has to be the main event. I was like, there's nothing else that I was thinking that you would have graded 5. So I'm happy to know that. But we got one more step to get there, of course.
Yes. I was close on a 4th with the Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair matchup from WrestleMania. I was like, the only thing I was like, they could have got like 5 more minutes out of that son of a bitch, and it would have been perfect. The fact that Logan Paul and AJ Styles had a longer match than them pisses me off. But let's go into
that. That's awful.
Yes.
That's
why I am still talking about to this day that Top Guy JJ and Romeo tried to gaslight me into thinking that Logan and AJ was a good match. I was like, this wasn't good.
That sucked.
When Dave Meltzer gave it 3.5 stars, I was like, I've never seen a more overrated 3.5 star matchup in my life.
Oh, Jesus, Dave.
This is the same Dave Meltzer who gave the Ops versus Death Riders a higher rating than Mercedes versus Athena. So
that's true. I was in the building for those, and let me just tell you, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I had that shit at like 3 3/4 stars, and I thought I was being generous. Dave gave it 4.5. I was like, what the fuck did he watch? This is why everybody should do their own star ratings and stop relying on this old man.
What I do. What I do. Yeesh. That's crazy.
All right, let's talk about the semi-main event of the show for the white belt, the Wonder of Stardom Championship, and for the Neo Genesis leadership, Starlight Kid defending against Azumi. I love the entrances for both women, and you could tell how important, like, Azumi usually smiles a little bit more during her entrance, but not in this one. She had the serious face on. You had Starlight Kid, who had the big smile on, ready for this big matchup here. And this was the first time since Starlight Kid left Oedo Tai and Azumi left Queen's Quest, since they went up against each other now in the same stable. Azumi's first challenge for either the Wonder or World of Stardom Championships, and they added of course, the caveat of their new group, Neo Genesis. The leadership is on the line here, and this one had the flashes of their previous bouts with the high speed, with the different pinning combinations. I lost count at how many times Azumi went for Azumi Sushi. She went for that shit like 400 times in this one matchup.
Yeah.
They had their nice little sprints and everything, but they mixed it in with a more kind of semi-main event feel to it, where we had the limb work of Azumi going after the arm and Starlight Kid going after the leg of Azumi, setting up for each woman's finishing submission holds. Azumi's selling wasn't always the best. She would sell the knee sometimes and then wouldn't sell it at other times. But when they went into their high speed kind of bag, this is when I thought this matchup really shined. They really showed out in this one. In the end, it was Starlight Kid pulling out a pair of tiger suplexes, one where she looked like she was going for the pin, and then got the second one for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here, and now officially is the leader of Neo Genesis while retaining the Wonder of Stardom Championship. This will not be the last time we see Azumi challenging for the top 2 titles in Stardom. She's going to have to wait a little while longer for that big victory, and it might just come at the NJPW Resurgence in 1 week's time. But for now, it's Starlight Kid who picks up the victory here. Love the show of respect between the eternal foes. Love the video package before this matchup as well, and it really kind of told the story of how they've grown from bitter rivals to really good friends within the same stable. But it is Starlight Kid who retains here. I thought this was a stronger match. I saw a lot of people who were kind of down on this matchup because it was like the high speed stuff mixed with like the limb work and other stuff. But I thought that when it went high speed, I thought that this is when the match really shined. So I liked it a lot more than other people thought. I thought it was a great matchup. I give it 4.25 stars. What did you think?
I think they suffered from placement on the card. It's one of their weaker matchups, not because, and when I say weaker, I mean compared to like the last few years, not like when they were children. And it's partly because Starlight Kid's still hurt. Like you could just tell, like she is not 100%. She is willing her way through these matches, and it's a credit to her because she's still putting on good performances. But if she's 100%, I think this is a different match. I think this is a different level, and I think they're able to actually somehow fight what was a crowd that was drained from that previous match. That was the toughest part for them because you got bookended by 2 of the most emotional matches Stardom has had in forever. So tough. Yeah, it was good. No doubt about that. I mean, it's Azumi and Starlight Kid. I don't think they were gonna have a bad match. But it's just such tough placement. Like I had to rewatch this after the show, like during the day, because after the Mayu Syuri match, I was completely out of it for like the next yeah. I had to go back.
I had to watch it earlier today, and that's what I was like. I thought it was like very good. That's what I put on my tweet when I originally watched it. But I was also kind of distracted from just the Mayu and Syuri of it all, and seeing the reaction on social media as well to that matchup. So I had to rewatch it earlier today, and that's why I was like, it's actually when it's outside of the vacuum, because I watched Mayu and Syuri like immediately after the show. I had to rewatch that again because I was like, first I gave it like 4.75, and then I watched it again. I was like, nah, this is 5 stars. But this matchup, I actually watched the final 2 matches earlier today, and I was like, it's actually better than what I felt at the time. If you watch it without being immediately after Mayu and Syuri.
For sure. Yeah, I have to I'm gonna rewatch the main event specifically because naturally I'm always so tired by the time that is happening. But 2, I don't know why I feel the need. I want to experience sadness again, I guess. And just kind of like the pomp and circumstance of it all as well. I think there was a lot of beauty to the match, which we're going to talk about now. So why not just put up that graphic, and obviously you can do what you need to do. But yeah, this next match, I think is always interesting to me.
So
think I
let's
like
talk
it.
about it. Commentary announced before the matchup that on top of everything else, career versus career, no DQ, this was also no time limit, and that there must be a winner. So yes, it was the main event, the match that this whole show was built around, career versus career for the World of Stardom Championship. Saya Kamitani defending against Tam Nakano. Love this video. This video package might be one of the best that Stardom has ever produced. The build, and that the fact that it all stems from this long-term rivalry between the two, that stems from their time feuding over the Wonder of Stardom Championship, into what they've gone through over the World of Stardom Championship, with Saya winning the title last December and then beating her in the Loser Leaves Stardom matchup in Kurgan Hall earlier this year, and then challenging her to wanting to get that title, wanting to end the career of Tam Nakano at her hands. But man, the entrances was even better than the video packages. Like the entrance for Tam Nakano, she looked like an absolute megastar coming out with the love of the fans, and her theme song, which is one of like the signature theme songs in Stardom. But my God, Saya Kamitani is an absolute superstar.
I was hoping you had the screenshot that I had, because it's like there's this. Actually, I'm literally gonna send it to you on Twitter so you can put it up. I need it up. Like it's my favorite photo from the show, probably, because it's just like, how are you how did you nail it like this? Where the hell is it? Give me 1 second.
No
But
worries, no worries.
I'll let you go through the match and I'll get it over to you.
Yes. So yeah,
Oh, there we go.
the entrances alone kind of tell its own story as well. But the intros, you can just feel the emotion in the air with the story and feud that has really kind of taken Saya Kamitani to the next level of her whole game, because she's always been so good, at the high flying, at her selling, but she's really put it all together with the character work. And then Tam Nakano is the main character of Stardom over the last couple of years, and how far she's come in her career. They are gone off here, and they really, the intensity was off the charts right from the minute go. You had Saya using the chain at one point, yoking up Tam fighting from underneath, wanting the best out of Saya. She pulls out a steel chair at one point and just starts posing in it and just showing her personality. I was just like, where's this girl been? Like I don't remember when we were talking about her during the original All-Star Grand Queendom, and we were like, yo, she's got it in the ring, but she didn't have the character, she didn't have the it factor, and now she's got it in spades.
The story of Saya Kamitani is fascinating because just like I've always been a fan of hers, and I've always thought that she was incredible at wrestling. Like the wrestling, she always had it. And the reason I never thought that this character or the heel would work is because she was very natural as a babyface, because of how emotional she is. You saw it in the match, you saw it in the post match. Like she's just someone you want to root for. So when they turned her heel, I was like, what are we doing? Because I didn't think she had this personality, this confidence, because you got to remember, after the Mina Shirakawa thing where she hit her in the face and Mina got all bloody, she lost a lot of confidence from that. And when she got injured against Tam in the 5-star Grand Prix, she lost a lot of confidence from that too. So seeing her be this now, it's incredible. It's incredible. She is so much. She's improved in every facet of her game as well, which, again, as someone who, I look back to her match with Hazuki in 2023, right before the Mina match. And it's one of my favorite matches she's ever had.
That was on the same show as my favorite Starlight Kid and Azumi matchup. I remember that too.
That was the same show. That was like that match I fondly remember because it was my favorite Saya Kamitani match maybe until now, because I think this match illustrates who she still truly is while also being the heel that she has to be, if that makes sense. She has to be that
No, it
heel
does.
because it's an incredible character that she's put together, but she's also very complicated in the way that she goes about, because you see her emotions in this match. This photo that you have up here right now is perfect. She was literally crying, and Tam's like, we just got to do this. Like, we just gotta beat each other, and the blood and whatnot. And the fact of the matter is that Tam Nakano is going to be remembered for many things in her career. She is a genuine all-time great in Stardom. She is comfortably on the Mount Rushmore for Stardom, in my opinion. It is Mayu, Io, Tam, and you can debate on the fourth. But I don't think she was once in the debate, maybe when she won the world title from Julia. Debate no more. She's one of, if not the biggest, she is the biggest draw. There's proof. Since AJW for Joshi. She is a absolute draw, and this show, this match, this run of hers for her career was truly, truly something. I always like to say with Tam, I've had a very rocky road with Tam, but that's the Tam road, baby. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be easy. That is the story that she created for herself, and you got to give her credit. Much like Mayu Iwatani, she was never the chosen one. She was never supposed to be this, but she stepped up in 2020 when so many different things unraveled in Stardom, and she became the most popular star. She became Wonder of Stardom champion twice, World of Stardom champion twice. I could read accolades all day, and yet, despite all that, the greatest thing she has accomplished is making Saya Kamitani. That is her biggest
Absolutely.
gift to the business. If you have followed Tam, she has always cared so much about Saya, whether it was the first Wonder Stardom title match where she won that, and then they had a great title defense at Stardom World Climax at Ryogoku Sumo Hall, or it was 2023. People don't remember this. Saya Kamitani was going to win that 5-star Grand Prix and face, you
Yep.
guessed, Tam Nakano for the title at Queendom. It was going to happen again. Had to be delayed one more year. It happened, and now look at Saya Kamitani. I see people legitimately and rightfully so talk about the Lou Thez Ric Flair Award for Saya Kamitani this year. It's hard to argue just based on what she's doing and the business they're doing. Now, the ultimate test, of course, will be doing that with Tam gone. But
Exactly.
that's the exciting part. And
Yeah.
this match is phenomenal. It's emotional. It's everything that is Tam Nakano to a T. It's the things and the beauty of this match is some of it's the stuff that Tam would annoy me with through the years, and I'm like, no, this is perfect. Like, I need you to, when she's running down the ramp for her signature knee spot that she loves to do in all her big matches, that's like every time she does it, I'm like, okay, here we go. But
Yep.
everything just worked. It was such an emotional, fantastic match. It's one that as you show these images, I'm like, I need to rewatch this. And to see this Saya and if you did have the image of the Saya Kamitani that entered this match, it's like night and day.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
she
reminder-
turned back into the Saya Kamitani that we all know and love, that the one that became Wonder of Stardom champion. Like it came through within this matchup here, but like just the drama, the emotion, the near falls, the kick out at ones for the different moves was just well done as well. Oh man, this had everything you would want from a big time epic main event matchup in Japanese pro wrestling. You had the fighting spirit spots. You had the great in-ring work and hard-hitting action. You had just the ebbs and flows, the twists and the turns that make Joshi wrestling what it is and what it's all about. And then in the end, I thought that the ending was just complete perfection where she hits the Star Crusher, but then picks up Tam because she wants to finish her off in the same way that she finished her off in Kurgan Hall with the Kamagoye kick to the face that she beat her with there. But Tam kicks out because Tam's like, no, that's not the way I want to go out. Basically, that's what she said. Like, she's like, no, I don't want to go out that way. I need you to hit me with my own move. So she hits her with the Starlight Dream, connects with it. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, I was like, when she hits that, I was just like, all right, yeah, I have no choice. 5 stars. I was like twice on one show. I had been being conservative for most of the year, but I have 2 shows this year, Scott, where I have 2 5-star matches in one show. The only other show that did that this year was Revolution, and then they messed that up with the main event. This one doesn't have that against them. It has one of the 5-star matches in the main event. So that is what a great wrestling show is all about. And yes, Saya picks up the victory, 1, 2, 3, defeating Tam Nakano in an absolute instant classic. The emotion on both women's faces post-match was just like, oh man, you could tell how much this meant to the both of them. They just really just left it all in the ring, tears in their eyes. And then the post-match was like the cherry on top in telling the complete story of this rivalry and this story that has elevated Saya Kamitani to the top of Joshi wrestling, to the top of Stardom as the World of Stardom champion. And she gets on the mic and she just completely breaks down. And the Saya that was all that was so confident coming down to the ring, the Saya that had was posing in the chair and making fun of Tam and bragging to Tam in Kurgan Hall, she was gone. This was not her. This was the real Saya Kamitani coming out and just telling Tam how important she is to her. It's because of her that she is her, thanking Tam for everything that she did for her with tears in her eye, the emotion just coming through with every word that she said. And I loved Waka on the English commentary because I got to watch this the first time with the English commentary with Waka kind of telling us what she was saying, and that just like you felt it. You didn't even need the translation. You felt everything that she was saying to her, and you could see it in both of their eyes and the emotion. And then they slap each other, showing that the rivalry is still there. And then they finally leave the ring together. They walk up the ramp, and you get one of the greatest scenes I think I've ever seen in any wrestling. Just absolute, like I said it on Twitter with what I was saying about this matchup. This closing scene is right straight out of a movie. This is actually the real definition of cinema, as the 2 women who just beat the crap out of each other stand next to each other and then collapse at the top of the stage. They turn to the fans. We see feathers raining down on them as Tam points to the feathers in the sky, and then the screen goes black and they disappear. Yeah. Beautiful. And yes, I finally was able to upload the image. I had to save it and then put it here. But yeah, the difference in this picture and this picture is amazing.
I know. It's and in many ways, I think it's the beauty of wrestling as a whole, but especially in Joshi, when you have retirement matches, I think there's such an incredible appreciation in Japan that you don't get anywhere else. Maybe like Mexico or something. I don't want to disrespect any of that. But like compared to America, outside of like Sting, I feel like retirement matches can be overlooked or not get the proper treatment. And so many times when you have a retirement match, it's not like this in Japan. But Tam Nakano is not a normal like wrestler. She is gonna go out her way, and she's gonna do it her way until the very end. This, my God, this couldn't have been her way more than ever. Is it dramatic? Sure is. Is it insane? Sure is. But is it also beautiful and pretty freaking perfect? It sure is. Like that is Tam Nakano, and you wouldn't have it any other way. With Saya Kamitani, you know, I meant to say this when I was talking about the match, but one of the best parts of the match is when she thinks that she needs to hit that Phoenix Splash to win. And that is something that she's continuously played to. She has not gone back to it. But the fact that she teases it, she has doubt, and that almost cost her her career. I think that was perfect. Because in many ways, that move, she has proven she doesn't need that to succeed anymore. And hitting that Twilight Dream in the middle of the ring to win that match, perfect. Just, it was perfect. Like, there's a reason I need to rewatch it, because every time I remember something new, I get a better appreciation for the match. Every time I remember the emotions that were in the match, I get a better appreciation for the match. For the longest time with Tam, I always thought the best story she ever had was with Arisa Ishiki, who was her legitimate friend and someone that she was connected with. And that story unfortunately never got to finish because Arisa had to get injured. And obviously the Julia story is a very unique one. That is one that helped propel Stardom to another level. But like I said, the connection and the care that she has put into Saya Kamitani and making her a bigger star is something that is not only commendable, but something you want to see from someone at the level of Tam Nakano, right? We live in a time now where, you know, John Cena's talking about not putting over anyone, blah, 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 whatever. And don't get me wrong, I've loved John Cena for many, many years. That being said, this is what it looks like to raise someone up. This is what it looks like to set them up. And Saya Kamitani was already made before this match, but now it's like all eyes are on her moving forward in Stardom. Every single eye, every amount of interest is on her and where she goes from here. And that will be the most interesting story for them to tell. Will Hate have a problem with how this went? Right? They weren't involved in this. They weren't allowed to be involved with this. She was emotional. She was broken down. You know, the first time she's really broken down in a long time. That's the excitement of it. I can't wait to see where these things go. I think if this is your match of the year, I think if Syuri versus Mayu is your match of the year, it just comes down, maybe not to preference, but maybe connection more than anything else, really, when it comes to those two. But I think they're not borderline. I think they're undoubtedly both match of the year contenders. And it's hard to, Pete talked about it. This was a match legitimately, because again, all my focus was on the Mayu match. And again, me and Tam, rocky road as a fan. I've had the moments I've loved her. I've had the moments I'm like, why? But when I got to this match, I started to make her entrance. It all started to creep in. And I was like, right, this is it. And boy, oh boy, was it it. And they crushed it. Everything you want. End of an era, sure. But it's Stardom's all-time greatest show. And it ends with one of their all-time greatest wrestlers calling it a career. I don't think she enters the ring again anytime soon. You never know, you never know. But we'll see. And the thing is with Saya Kamitani, it's very interesting to see where she goes from here. We know she'll face Sayaka Karara. I'm fascinated to see what the reaction is to her at that Corkin and so on, because she did retire Tam. So there's a way for her either to be a super baby face just naturally because the crowd loves her and what this was, or you boo her out of the building. You retired Tam Nakano on us. So it's plain and simple, and that'll be fun. But this was an incredible show. If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you did watch it again. Just awesome. And I would just want to say, before we're done, shout out to Walker Stewart. This guy was a one-man booth, and me and him talked for a few hours, like a few days before, because he was like, listen, I'm going in there alone. I need everything. So what did I do? We talked about it. And the best call of his entire night was for this main event. He was incredible. He was incredible in this main event. And then when you get to the post-match, silence. He let it breathe.
Yes, he let it breathe. That was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, incredible job. What a home run. And man, Man, it's so weird because you feel like there should be instant excitement for what's next, and it's like, well, it's weird. I don't know what's next, but everyone should take a bow. Incredible job, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Just an absolutely amazing show, top to bottom, and it ends with one of the best matches of the year. Like I said, 5 stars for this, 5 stars for Mayu and Syuri, multiple 4-star matches for me, especially in the top 6. So go out of your way to watch this if you haven't already. But if you have, let us know in the live chat, what was your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP? What did you give this show out of 10? Whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. For me and Scott, for Stardom, All-Star Grand Queendom 2025 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board. Are you giving a thumbs up, Scott?
Oh, I'm giving it. If I had more than 2, I would.
And out of 10, what did you give the show, Scott?
I'm someone that doesn't like to give out perfection. I don't. I really like. I'm hard. It's hard for me to give 5 stars. It's hard for me to give a perfect 10. I have to give it a 10. Like, this is a show that Saya Kamitani is showing, specifically men's world champions in America, what a real world champion looks like, and specifically the men. The women are crushing it.
Yeah.
But this is a show that ended perfectly and had maybe the best 6-match run I've seen. 7. Say 7. Like, I'm not going to disrespect that trios match. That was really good. Like, it was an incredible run. Everything was like this. So yeah, double thumbs up and a 10 out of 10 for the show.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever given a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to keep it modest, because there was one match that I didn't like. So I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. But this is definitely the show of the year. This is definitely the show of the year. Definitely the show of the year so far, because Revolution fucked up. They're 9.5 out of 10. They dropped down to they dropped down to a 8.5 out of 10 just for the main event. But this one, 9.5 out of 10. My MVP for the show, I got to give it to our 2 departing legends, Tam Nakano and Mayu Iwatani. Scott?
Yeah. I mean, they carried the show, and in terms of the emotion and the performances, without a doubt, it'd have to be those 2, and I have no problem giving it to those 2. Though I do have a fun fact for you, SP3. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Tam Nakano went 0-4-3 against Mayu Iwatani in her career. She's never beaten her. Sorry, had to do it.
You had to.
I tweeted that out after the retirement, and I was like, people are gonna be so mad, but I've had this locked ready.
He was ready for it. Who's your LVP for the show?
Oh, that's a good one. Tekla, she got fired.
You know what? We're gonna be in agreement on that as well. Tekla, yeah, you got let go. I was gonna give it to Okada, but I might give it co-LVPs to Okada.
Yeah, they might deserve it for that entire angle.
And Tekla.
Like him, like laughing at her or whatever. I was like, what is going on?
I was like, that seems pretty mean. That's pretty.
I know.
Mean.
I was like, am I supposed to cheer for you? Yeah, I think they get it together.
Yeah, they get it together. And match of the night, we got to choose one. There can only be one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to Tam and Saya.
Okay, so I do want to rewatch it. I am still confident with it. I will pick Mayu and Syuri just because of, again, the emotional connection I had to it. But if I had rewatched the main event before this, maybe it'd be different. But again, there's not a wrong choice. As long as you're picking between those 2, hell, you pick May, Sarah, and Suzuki. I ain't gonna argue either.
I ain't gonna argue with you. I ain't gonna argue with you at all. Those 3 matches are 3 of the best women's matches you are gonna see this whole year, and they're on one show. So that's ridiculous.
Incredible. But yeah, I mean, there's so many good things. Like picking an LVP wasn't easy. Like it was just like, oh well, she did get fired, so that was kind of tough. But yeah, incredibly done. Taro Kennedy, oh god, that's crazy.
I love it. I love it so much.
Crazy. Yeah,
Bunch of thumbs up, bunch of 10 out of
4.
10s in the chat. 4 thumbs up from Hulk. We got 10 out of 10 from Sage. You got a 10 out of 10 from Greg. So a lot of people in agree as this is the best show of the year so far. I even shared it in the True Hill Heat chat. And I know none of these people usually watch Joshi wrestling, but I was like, y'all got to watch this. This is the front runner for the show of the year. This is the front runner. This is the front runner. Y'all all got to watch it now. But Scott, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Always enjoy talking some Stardom with you. And now that we're going into the unknown, I might have to call you again to talk some more Stardom when everything shapes out the way it's going to go down. Peter also gives it a 10 out of 10 as well. But I want to give Scott the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and where they can see all your coverage of this fantastic show. Let the people know.
Yeah, you can follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter, Blue Sky. That's where I am. I have covered everything from this show to the Mayu stuff as best as I can. And the best place to go to see my content right now is youtube.com/at Scott E Wrestling. I have posted 2 videos within the same day, which is probably not what you should do on YouTube, but I did it anyways. An instant reaction to Mayu Iwatani leaving the company is up there right now, as well as is a review / getting the thoughts of Walker Stewart, who of course called the match in real time. You get to his entire respect and look at what was, like SP3 said, the show of the year. I think it's a very unique look. I also have a review up on Fight Game Media Network's YouTube channel, but if you want to hear a different look from all the many reviews that we've done, I think listening to Walker talk about it's very cool, and highly recommend it because I woke up very early to do it. So I would appreciate if you watched it. Thank you.
Yes, go over and check out Scott. He's doing great work. Follow him. He deserves all the love when it comes to talking about Stardom, and that's why we always call him here on True Hill Heat. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. I will be back live here tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with Rated Raw Review, reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw. I don't know how I'm going to watch that show after this, but I'm going to do it because of the love of the game. But thank you all for joining us live. Thank you if you're watching us on demand. Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments down below because this is the front runner for show of the year. But thank you so much to Scott. Thank you to all of you. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom 2025 review. We are signing off until next time.